Actually come and studied assisted suicide a year ago and actually wrote about a 46-page paper. He was a Winston Churchill Memorial Trust Fellow. Well, anyway, he gave a talk at the University of Portland yesterday, and when people in Scotland or Britain heard that he was coming to Oregon, he said, "Oh, you're going to the place where they do assisted suicide."
Oh, great.
They weren't saying, "Oh, you're going to the place where they have wonderful health care."
Yeah. No.
We're known for our assisted suicide. We're not known for our wonderful health care.
Well, I'm so proud to know that. I'm just going to get a button that says it when I fly next time to the East Coast. No, it's nothing to joke about, and it is serious, and people need to know all the reasons they need to never, ever participate. Will you watch a video with me? We're
Sure.
going to watch a video, and has our wonderful Gail Atbury, Director of Oregon Right to Life, and guess what? You're in it. So
that's what I understand.
Yeah,
we'll see what
let's watch
I
it
did.
together. Yeah.
In the state of Oregon, the supposedly controlled experiment of legalized assisted suicide has been allowed, but it has proved to be anything but controlled. In Oregon, assisted suicide is a shadowy practice. The public only knows, and the government can only monitor, what practitioners themselves are willing to report. What has been made public is chilling.
The publicized cases of assisted suicide in Oregon are proving to us and to the world that our law does not work. The safeguards are not working. What we are seeing is that patients that are not even terminally ill are using this law. We see that patients suffering from dementia. We see that patients are being encouraged by family members. We see that family members are doctor shopping, looking all over until they find a doctor that will help write this prescription. Most of these patients are suffering from treatable clinical depression. Last year in Oregon, only 13% saw a psychiatrist. They are not getting the help that they need. They can be treated. They can be brought back to a state where they can enjoy their last days, months, or even years.
This law in Oregon really is flawed. There are great dangers associated with it. We have situations of individuals feeling pressured by their families. We have concern about the financial state. There was a situation of an older woman who desired to have this, and her daughter was quite insistent on pursuing that. And there was real concern that there was undue pressure upon the mother by this daughter that wanted this taken care of. She was tired of taking care of her aged mother. Some of these medications, again, these are sleeping medications. If you don't take it all at once, or if you throw them up, you may end up in a vegetative state, unconscious, and there's concern about that. Oregon is unique not only because of the physician-assisted suicide law, but also because we have a prioritized plan of health care. In fact, it's unique in the nation in having that type of a plan. Health care is being rationed within the state of Oregon, in the Oregon Health Plan. They will pay for physician-assisted suicide, but yet there are limitations of what they will pay for other pain-killing and palliative efforts. There are financial reasons why the state might want to do this, or why HMOs might want to do this as well, because it may be cheaper for them to kill the patient or to end the patient's life rather than to have that prolonged cost. HMOs are recruiting physicians who will do this. One of the concerns we have in Oregon is that there seems to be a desensitization about suicide. Oregon has one of the highest suicide rates. The irony is that the patients that request physician-assisted suicide primarily do it because they want that autonomy, they want that control at the end of life. So they then turn to the physician to make it legitimate. The physician has the power to say yes or no. The physician has the power to write the prescription to give a lethal drug. In a sense, the physician has the power. It's not the patient. When you say, I have the right to die, that means you're also giving individuals, and a group of individuals, the power to kill. If you go to a doctor and the doctor says, here is a prescription, that's considered to be a written order. You take that to a pharmacy, you get that filled. When you go into the hospital and the doctor will write doctor's orders and to tell the nurses what to do for you. And so it's really a misnomer to call it physician-assisted suicide. I think it really should be doctor-ordered suicide, doctor-directed suicide. That really tells it what it is.
Death is being marketed by euthanasia advocates. They are misrepresenting their true goals. There's a world of difference between helping someone as they're dying and causing them to die. For more than 2,000 years, the Hippocratic Oath has been a protective shield for the patient and the doctor. And it's protected society from the inevitable floodwaters that come once we open the doors to legalized killing. We know that people in emotional or physical pain may often express a desire to die. But what that is a cry of help. It's an invitation to us, not to kill them, but to get involved in their lives. We've seen that in Holland, they've opened a Pandora's box, and now that box can't be closed. We know that suicide and thoughts of suicide can themselves be contagious.
And where assisting suicide is legalized,
Death will itself become a very effective salesman.
I want to ask you about something that you said in there. HMOs are shopping around for doctors that'll go for this? Is that happening?
Well, there's one of the major HMOs, and they circulated an email among their doctors indicating that they couldn't find enough doctors to do it, and they were asking doctors to come forward that would be willing to write the prescriptions because they weren't getting enough to.
Do you think the average person watching this show right now understands everything that's involved with the motivation behind this movement, this law?
I don't think so, and I encourage people to learn as much as they can. What I have learned is that the more we can talk about it, the more people will see the harm and the dangers.
Well, I think it's such a disadvantage for people because the front, let me ask you this, how many times has the front page of the local paper said the bad side of assisted suicide and featured somebody? How many?
Rarely.
Yeah,
rarely.
We don't have a stack of those, do we? How many, you know?
One of the interesting things that happens is that these articles that come out tell us the things that are harmful about it. The instance of Mrs. Lavelle Svart.
Right.
I think that was very strange to me. Again, I've been a doctor taking care of a lot of patients that are dying.
Right.
She was not dying. She was not close to dying a natural death. She was probably many weeks, maybe even months away from that. One of the things I have learned is that you cannot always tell when a person is terminal.
No.
I've had patients that have come to me or been referred to me with, say, lung cancer. The lung cancer spread to the brain. The doctor has told the patient, you're terminal. And I've had a number of patients where I have treated their lung cancer, treated their brain tumor, even when they have that. And one I remember in particular lived 2.5 years, very well. He saw 2 grandchildren born that he would not have.
I think that's so important to say that.
Another woman was referred to me with a colon, or like a low rectal tumor, and she was referred, and the tumor was actually such that we could treat it with surgery. We could treat it without surgery. We could treat it with radiation and chemotherapy. I told her the likelihood of her being cured was about 70–80%.
Wow.
She said, "No, I want to wait until I'm eligible for the assisted suicide." And I said, and she'd really made up.
And why do you think that
she'd
is?
made up her mind. She had cancer. She just thought that cancer was a bad thing. And I said, "Would you be willing to come back next week?" So he came back next week. She still refused treatment. She did that 3 or 4 times.
And what was her age?
She was in her 50s.
In her 50s?
In her 50s. And finally I said, "Tell me about your family." And she said, "Well, I've got I've got a son in his 20s, late 20s. He's not married." I said, "Wouldn't you like to see him get married?" "Yeah, I could do that." And she said,